Hi, I'm Gatobus. Welcome to my tutorial. Today I'll show you how to connect your Phantom to a modular synthesizer using CV connections. First, I'll show you how to create a basic patch using my Roland System 500. We'll take the saw wave out to VCF in. Then from the VCF out to the VCA in. Remember to raise the levels on both filter and VCA. Then from VCA out to mixer channel 1. Now we need the envelope to control the filter, so from envelope output to VCF modulation input, and from the second output of the envelope to the VCA modulation input. Let's check our patch by pushing the manual envelope trigger. Great! Now, for the second voice, we will use the 510 module, which is a pre-patched complete synth voice. We just need to raise the filter and VCA levels, then from the output straight to the channel 2 of our mixer module. Again, from envelope 2 output to filter modulation in, and from the second output of the envelope to VCA modulation in. Our second voice is now ready. Let's check it out. Now let's take our Phantom CV out and connect it to the keyboard input of the first VCO. Then from gate out 1 to the external control of envelope 1. And from CV out 2 to the keyboard input of our second voice. And from gate output 2 to the external control of the envelope 2. On my Phantom, I've created a new scene, and by pressing Shift plus the part buttons, I assigned part 1 and 2 to external control. In System Settings, go to CV Gate section and be sure that the assigned source is set to Scene, and that CV Gate 2 port mode is set to Gate 2. In Scene Edit, go to CV Gate section and set CV Gate 1 control zone to 1 and CV Gate 2 control zone to 2. In Zone Edit, in the Key Range menu, I split the keyboard in two parts. Zone 1 to the upper part and Zone 2 to the lower. Let's check it out. Now we can play in duophonic mode. To spice things up, we can use the arpeggiator in the upper part. Let's pick random mode. We can also create a clock output using the internal pattern sequencer. Let's go to part 3 and select an 808 tom sound. In TR rec mode, we just need to turn on all the steps. And we have this. Now we can go in the Effect Edit section and assign the zone output to sub 1. Okay, now we need to go from sub output 1 to the sample and hold clock input of our synth, and from sample and hold out to the filter modulation input of our second voice. Now our modulation source is perfectly in sync with our arpeggio. Since my System 500 is connected to the Phantom inputs, I can use the internal reverb to add some ambience. Nice, isn't it? Thank you for watching my video. See you next time!